Even though the Philippines and China have strong partnerships when it comes to trade, businesses, infrastructure making, militaries, and many other things that intensify its productive bilateral relations, it is undeniable that there are issues, most especially the dispute or territorial conflict in the West Philippine Sea, that negatively affected the strategic cooperation of these states. The issue resulted in the cooling off of the two countries' diplomatic relations in the past years. The escalation of the conflict because of the contradicting claims and views of these countries involving the right and control of the area is considered the most obvious damage to the friendship between the two. Because of the said dispute, both countries ensure that they have their own powerful political and tactical way of approaches and negotiation mechanisms to settle the disputes while guaranteeing the pursuit of their country's national interest. Dissecting the nature of the chosen title for this requirement, the researcher decided to include the words deliberate, not desperate, as part of the title. The primary purpose of these words is to help the researcher to establish a personal stand on the issue of the West Philippine Sea territorial dispute while calling for actions to the readers of this paper. From the point of view of the researcher, the claim and this part of the title will easily make the audience realize the possible flow and arguments in the content of the paper. Additionally, these terms were applied by the student to suggest to the readers that instead of being desperate to have full control of the disputed areas and engage in a war that our country cannot afford to do, the Philippine negotiation strategies in dealing with China should lead to a productive diplomatic deliberation and open communication where the concept of law politics is highly considered. The term deliberate, not desperate, was used in the title to suggest the negotiation with the presence of law politics will help the Philippines' negotiation style to justify the possible benefits of China's demand in the conflicted areas of water. Furthermore, the researcher decided to also focus the title on the issue of the West Philippine Sea dispute because this matter posed a greater challenge to the country on how to effectively create policies that will encourage China to enter diplomatic negotiations to avoid the possible escalation of the conflict. The student strongly believes that tackling this dispute is ideal and timely because the issue became one of the greatest concerns for the Security and Defense Council of the Philippines and the United Nations. The topic will also aim to provide in-depth pieces of information on the nature of the above-mentioned territorial dispute. The researcher will use the paper to enlighten the readers on the impact of the naval standoff over the Scarborough Shoal in April 2012, the illegal Chinese occupation and incursion in that particular area, the illegal establishment of various infrastructures, and of course, China's encroachment within the Philippines' exclusive economic zone. With this topic, the student will also provide factual data and analysis on the development and status of the diplomatic negotiations between the two countries after the Permanent Court of Arbitration issued its ruling on a claim brought against by China by the Philippines under UN clause in favor of the Philippines in July 2016. Lastly, as a student in this course, I would like to take this opportunity to express my deepest gratitude to my professor. His dedication and passion to deliver our needs for this course helped me to survive the interesting yet challenging nature of international negotiations. I want to thank him for the courage and commitment he has given to his noble profession of teaching, even though the current predicaments because of the existence of the pandemic intensify the challenges of the setup of learning. I am grateful that he became our instructor in this course, which helped me to appreciate the essence and positive impacts of international negotiations and how its process will help the country to have a greater and more respected position in the international community. I am happy that I had the chance to encounter him this academic year and inspires us to always champion the potential inside of each and every one of us to always do our best and to create our own story of destiny, which will lead us to our successful careers in the future. God knows how we appreciate your time and efforts to enter this class even though you also have problems to deal with. May God brings you to the destination where you will find true happiness and success. Thank you, sir.